welcome back to the Magical Foundation series. So far we've had a look at stillness and meditation, and we've also had a look at active meditation, which works more with bringing universal energy into the body and moving it around within the body and vibrating it. Therefore we've had a look at meditation itself, how to sit, the position you may want to use, looking at asanas, quieting the mind, and with active meditation also we've obviously gone into some basic breath work. So now what I want to do is have a look more specifically at breath work. A lot of people kind of gloss over meditation, breath work, and focus, concentration, and things like that. It can get a bit boring. I will admit it does get a bit boring sometimes. But if you actually get into the practice of meditation and breath work, specifically breath work, you find that you get to a point where you actually start looking forward to those sessions. And breathwork and meditation itself are definitely the foundations, are definitely essential to any spiritual or magical practice. The benefits that it can bring just on a physical level alone are quite astronomical, but it brings benefits physically, it brings benefits mentally, emotionally, but to your actual magical practice it is vital. And as I say, a lot of people gloss over it, they find it a bit boring and they just want to get to the good stuff. But it's definitely something you need to actually focus on, take the time to actually build up and practice before you get onto the good stuff. Quite frankly, I think the meditation and the breath work are quite often the good stuff, because of what you can do with it is quite astounding. So getting into breath work itself, sometimes people refer to it as Pranayama, which is from yoga. But if we have a look at breath work itself, there's a variety of different methods and techniques you can actually use. So to start with, what I would suggest is using what I call bellows breathing. Other people have call it vase breathing, and they refer to bellows breathing as something slightly different. But I've just always known it as bellows breathing, and the reason is that if you imagine a bellows, if you know what a bellows is, it's that thing you pump to stoke a fire. So it draws in air, and then you push the air out into the fire, and it stokes the fire, makes it flame more. So if you imagine a bellows doing this, as you open the bellows, it pulls the air in. As you push the bellows, the handles of the bellows together, it pushes the air out. So this is very similar to what this is very similar to the practice itself, which is why I call it the bellows breathing. Some people also call it belly breathing, and the reason there again, as you breathe in, your stomach pushes out, it expands. As you breathe out, the stomach contracts. So you've got this constant expansion and contraction of the belly. And with that, you just continue to breathe in and out. And as I say, it's if you think of it as being a bellows, as you breathe in, your stomach expands, pulling the air in, and then you breathe out, and it pushes the air out. So instead of thinking of yourself breathing and bringing the air in through the nose, down into the lower chambers of the lungs, which then force your belly to expand, and then as your belly contracts, it pushes the air, or you let the air out. Instead of thinking it in those terms, you breathing in and then breathing out, rather think of it like a bellows. So it shifts your consciousness into something slightly different, which brings awareness in. So instead of thinking of yourself breathing in and breathing out, think of your stomach as expanding and therefore drawing the air into your body. And then as your stomach contracts, it pushes the air out of your body. So you're not doing the breathing, your stomach's actually doing the breathing by expanding and contracting. But by bringing the consciousness to that act, then you are shifting your awareness and bringing your awareness into your breath, which helps you at a later stage. And we're going to go into focus and concentration, and eventually we get to samadhi, which is basically oneness with the object of your meditation. So you need that focus and the pure focus on that one thing that you're meditating on. And in this case, it's your breath, it's your breathing. So by shifting the conscious thought to something different, you're shifting the awareness, you're bringing it to something different, which definitely helps quite a bit. So apart from the bellows breathing, you can also do box breathing or ratio breathing. This is, you can use it in conjunction with bellows breathing actually, but that's where you actually use a specific count with the 4 parts of the breath. So if, for argument's sake, we do 4, 4, 4, 4, then you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold for a count of 4, you breathe out for a count of 4, and then you hold again for a count of 4 before you can continue again with a new cycle. So you can change this ratio to whatever you want. You can do 16, 8, 16, 4, for instance. You can make it, you can go up to 60 seconds, hold for 30 seconds. You know, what you can do with the ratio breathing is actually just keep mixing it up and making it more difficult. But have a look at that online. There's a lot of different ways you can actually use ratio breathing and box breathing for different purposes, really, to bring awareness to different things. So that would be the next one I would suggest practicing on, and allow yourself some time to actually perfect these methods. Bellows breathing is quite easy. We don't normally breathe that way. We only breathe into the top part of the lungs. We don't usually breathe right down into the bottom chambers. So unless you're used to breathing, well, breath work and meditation, then you might find it a bit difficult. But you know, practice it for a while and just make sure you get it right, and then go on to box breathing, and you know, try some different methods, but get it right before you go on to the next one. So you sort of develop and you exercise. So you exercise your breathing. At the end of the day, it's what it really is. You're exercising your breath work. You're exercising your lungs. And as you exercise it, you find that you do start breathing better during the day. So after box breathing, what I would suggest is to practice complete breath. And I actually did a video on this back in November and never published it, so I'm going to add it to this one. So we'll switch over to that just now. But the complete breath is a fantastic breath exercise. It focuses on different areas of the body, and it pulls breath into those different areas, and then you end up with a complete breath where you fill all the areas of the lung. And it also shifts your awareness slightly, because you're breathing in and out through your nose and your mouth, but you're also breathing in and out through your head. And there's one part of it where you actually breathe out through your navel as well. Obviously, you don't physically breathe in or out through the navel or through the top of the head, but you bring your visualization, your imagination into those parts. So you imagine the breath coming in from in through the top of your head and down into your lungs. Physically, you're obviously breathing through your nose and your mouth, but you know, it's just a good way to actually shift your consciousness, your awareness into something different. So I'm going to switch over to that other video now, and you can watch that. You can practice along and or watch it and practice later, and then see how it goes. As I say, just try and develop the breath work from a beginning point of view and build on it as you go. You don't want to go straight into some heavy breath work and find that you know, you're passing out or or whatever it may be, whatever might happen. So develop it, make it a practice, make it an exercise. So develop it from something simple to something more complex, and then go from there. There is also, sorry, I forgot to mention, there is also a pranayama technique, which is alternate nostril breathing. Have a look for that online. There's plenty of websites that talk about it, but it's a very useful practice, very useful exercise to actually do, because we have passive and active sides to our body, and we also have passive and active nostrils, and you find that throughout the day you actually go through cycles. It's a bit like a wave, and you only breathe through one nostril at a time. But what happens is throughout the day, I think it lasts a cycle lasts 3 hours as far as I remember. So every 3 hours your breath changes between nostrils, so it changes from an active to a passive state. If you go into bed at night, you can then activate the passive nostril, the moon nostril, and therefore it helps you to sleep better. When you wake up in the morning, you can activate the sun nostril, or the active nostril, and it gets you going, gets you active. Very interesting topic. I might go into it a bit later, but for now, just check it out online. Very interesting stuff. So now I'm going to get into the video, the complete breath video. Just find yourself an upright chair, dining room chair, garden chair, whatever it may be. So it's got an upright back, you can push your ass right back into it, and it doesn't have arms. Make sure it doesn't have arms, because you're going to put your hands on your thighs, and you don't want to be pushing, pushed up like this with arms in the way. So you want to sit back in your chair, back upright, feet planted on the ground, and palms down on your thighs. And we'll begin the complete breath. So what you want to do with the complete breath, you're going to be doing different types of breathing, and it's going to be you're going to be using your mouth and your nose to breathe, and you're also going to be using the top of your head to breathe. This might sound a bit strange, but all you do is just use your imagination. So if you need to breathe in, you just let energy or breath, come through the top of your head into your body, and if you need to breathe out through the top of your head, you just let the energy go out again. Alright, so yeah, you're not going to be breathing through your nose, you're going to be doing different types of breathing. So to begin with, you're going to breathe into your chest, and you'll breathe in through your mouth and your nose into your chest. You take a deep breath in, let your chest expand, and then you're going to exhale through the top of your head. Obviously, your physical breath will come out through your mouth and your nose, but just imagine the breath going out the top of your head. So let's just take that breath. Into your heart, into your chest, let your chest expand so it's into your heart center, and then breathe out through the top of your head. And then you repeat that procedure twice. So breathe in through your mouth and your nose to your heart, your chest. Then the chest expand, and then out through the top of your head. And then just pause between breaths, and then breathe in. And out. Now we're going to breathe into the solar plexus. So you're going to let your rib cage expand. And try to not let your heart or your chest and your stomach expand, just your rib cage expand. So you're going to breathe into this area only. And this breathing, you're going to breathe in through the top of your head. Obviously physically through your mouth and your nose, but breathe in through the top of your head, pause, expand, pause, and breathe out through the top of your head. And we're going to do that 3 times again. So breathe in, pause, and breathe out through the top of your head. Into the solar plexus through the top of your head. Pause, and out through the top of your head. And once more, in through the top of your head to your solar plexus. And out through the top of your head. There you go, not that difficult, right? Okay, now the next one, you're going to breathe into your stomach, but a point just below your navel. Alright, so you're going to breathe in through the top of your head down to this point, and you're going to fill your stomach. And then what you're going to do is, you're going to breathe out through this point. So, as I say, in through the top of your head, so the energy comes in, down into the point just below your belly button, and then as you breathe out, you exhale, the energy flows out through this hole, this point just below your navel. Got it? Okay, here we go. The energy flowed out through the hole in your navel, just below your navel. And then we breathe in. Down to that point. And then out through the hole. And once more, energy in through your head. Down to the point just below your navel, and then out through that hole. Okay, now the next one is a bit lower down, it's into your pelvic area. So you're going to breathe into your genitals and your rectal area. As I said in the previous video, don't get squeamish, we're all adults here. So into your genitals, into your rectum or your rectal area, and this is just the basic breath again. So in through your head, down to your pelvic region, and then up and out to your head again, and again 3 times. So let's do that. So in through your head, all the way down to your genitals, your rectum. You can actually push your rectal sphincter down a bit. Don't clench the arse. Very important. If you clench the arse, you're too stressed. You need to unclench the arsehole. That's what I was taught. That's what I'm teaching you now. Alright, sorry. That was an interruption there. Let's start with the first breath, shall we? Alright. So, let's go in. And then up, out through the top of the head. Okay, and then the second breath, in through the head, down to the pelvic area, and up again, out through the head. So in, and out. And one more breath. In. And out. Okay. Now, the final part is the complete breath in its proper state. And the way we're going to do this, we're going to breathe in through mouth and nose, and you're going to fill the entire torso, and starting from the pelvic region. So you breathe into your pelvic region, expand, into your stomach, expand, into your solar plexus, expand, into your heart, expand, and then when it's all filled up, you're just going to let the breath out with a sigh. And we do that again 3 times. So, excuse the hardy-dars, they have been going crazy for the past week. I don't know what's wrong with them. I think there's a whole congregation, but they're driving me nuts. Okay, so 3 times. Breathe in. Breathe in, as I say, pelvic, navel, solar plexus, heart, and then out with a sigh. Okay, ready? And you can pause. On the exhale again, you can pause as long as you want to. Just let it pause, just let it rest. And then you can take the next breath. And sigh. And then the final breath. And sigh. The sigh doesn't need to be sad, but it's okay if it is. And that's it, that's the complete breath. So let me just run through it again, so you've got a good idea. So first of all, it's into the chest. Just breathe in, and then you breathe out into the chest. Let the chest expand. Do that 3 times. And then the same with the solar plexus. Let the rib cage expand and out again. And then that's again 3 times, and then again into the point just below your navel. The only difference is here is when you breathe out, the energy comes out through a hole in your navel area. 3 times, and then again into the pelvic area. Breathe out, do it 3 times, and then you do the proper complete breath. So that's with one breath into the pelvic area, into the navel, let it expand, into the solar plexus, let it expand, into the chest, let it expand, and then just sigh, let the air out. And then do that 3 times, and that's the complete breath. That's the total, whole, complete breath. You'll find it's extremely relaxing. You'll probably find you'll get into an extremely tranquil state. And you can, after you've done that, you can repeat the whole thing again. And just keep doing it until you feel you don't want to do it anymore. You might find that you'll just carry it on because it is so amazing. And you're going to love me for it. And I think that's all I wanted to say about the complete breath. Yeah, there is. Sorry, I've forgotten the name or the title that it was given. It was the Divine Center or something like that. So when you actually pull in the breath through the top of your head and out again, you can actually pull it from this point. I'm going to actually call it the 9th chakra, because if you know the chakras, you understand the chakras. You've got the 7 chakras, which are on the body, and then the crown chakra, which they say connects you to divinity. I came across a work by Alberto Villoldo years ago. The book was called Shaman, Healer, Sage, as far as I remember. Excellent book. Try and get it. It's really, really good book. But he spoke about 9 chakras. So you've got your normal 7, and then you've got one, which is if you lift your arms up and clap your hands, at that point there is your 8th chakra, and it's about the size of a basketball. And that's your 8th chakra. So what happens? Your crown chakra is your connection with your higher self. Your 8th chakra is the connection to divinity. And then you get your 9th chakra, which is in the center. And you might think, where's the center? It's everywhere. The center is the circumference. Center and the circumference, it's everything, it's everywhere. There is no specific point to it. You can't locate it. It's like the collective consciousness that Jung spoke of. So what you can do is you can actually just imagine something in the clouds like a big eye. So that's actually the example I was given. Just imagine a big eye in the cloud. Not the letter I, an actual eye, like the one you see and you look out of. Just this big eye in the cloud, or something in the clouds, or something above you, maybe just a big ball of energy, whatever you want it to be. That, just picture it, imagine it, and that is a representation then of the 9th chakra, which is the center. It's the source of everything. It is everything. And then you just pull like a line of energy down through the top of your head, and you push that line of energy back up, and makes the whole visualization a bit easier. You know, whatever works for you, as long as you get the energy coming in and the energy going out. But I like the big eye in the sky. So I imagine it. It's like this golden light that comes down, and golden light comes into my body, and the golden light goes back out again. That's how I like to imagine it. Whatever works for you, do it your way. And that's the complete breath. And that completes the complete breath. So, as I said previously, just practice. This is definitely worth it. It's definitely worth taking the time to build up these practices before you get into more advanced type of magical, as I say, the good stuff. It's definitely worth it and definitely essential. You'll find that if you do all these practices and you get them right, your magic will be quite powerful, quite potent. If you don't, you'll be skipping a lot of very important stuff, and your magical practice, it'll be there and you'll think, oh, you know, it's great, but you don't actually understand how much better it could be. If you just took the time at the beginning to actually get these foundations. So anyway, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, cheers.